Isn't it great? With a press of a button, my eyes go up a little bit, my nose is super buttony, and those lips, so luscious. But here's the problem. That same button, and it all goes away. Wah, wah. Wah, wah. Exactly, right? So we all have experienced this. You see a filtered picture of somebody and you're like, that's not really what they look like. And then what if it's you that's filtered, and then you look in the mirror and you're like, wait a minute, why do I look like this? Katie Tash is here with Katie Tash Photography. Dr. Tracy Alloway is here, and she's with us every Wednesday, and more with you for Mental Wellness Wednesday, Tracy. But Katie, you and I had this epiphany over brunch. Let's just say what it is. We were having some Bloody Marys talking about filtered photos. And as a photographer, you get asked frequently to do Photoshop after the fact, airbrush. What do you think about that?
Well, I feel bad because I want to be everyone's friend, but when someone comes to me and they say, oh, can you make me skinnier? I'm like, no, that's a hard pass. It's not good for anybody. There's a reality that is in photos that everyone thinks is real, but then when you look in the mirror, you look back a couple years later and you're like, why don't I look like now? Maybe you forgot that was shrunken down or changed or modified in some way. And so it's just harmful for you. It's harmful for your family that are looking at you like, why can't I look like mommy? Things of that nature.
Exactly. And Tracy, as somebody who does research on these types of emotions, where are you on this?
I think it's really interesting. Studies show we actually have what's called a photo paradox, where we judge our photos as, maybe being authentic, but when we see the same filter or the same kind of photoshopping on someone else, we view that as inauthentic. So we have a bit of a double standard with how we perceive ourselves. We feel like the Photoshop self is a more authentic self, but if we notice that in someone else, like your conversation earlier, we view that as less authentic, and we're less likely to engage with that person.
Now, Katie, you have actually been in situations where someone, and as a photographer, I know a lot of photographers say, like, gosh, it's hard to be in this business anymore because everyone wants to go out and take their own pictures with filters and everything. But you've been in situations where, you've been the subject of the photograph, and people have even offered to tweak this and that.
Yes, I've actually had a series taken, family photos, where I didn't realize that someone had photoshopped me thinner and they accidentally sent an initial image. And I was kind of hurt by that. I work very hard. I live a very healthy lifestyle. I don't feel as though I need to be photoshopped. And so I don't enjoy that.
Yeah, so what are your thoughts on that one, Tracy? I mean, do you feel like it's nice when people can actually take ownership and say, no, I want to be who I am?
I think that's incredible. So there is a little test that psychologists created. It's called your mirror self, or your mirror image. And they found that people who had an accurate self-representation that actually reflects who they are tended to be more self-confident, had a more positive outlook on life, and actually attracted more social interaction. So I love Katie's perspective. It really resonates with what psychologists identify as a healthy version of self. So if you're the kind of person that feels a little resistant to being photoshopped, own that, feel good about that, because that indicates a very positive self-image. And ultimately, the kind of knock-on or domino effect is that you're going to attract people in a very positive, healthy way socially as well.
When my son was in high school, he was in a car accident and he had glass in his face and had a scar, and still does. And when he went to have his senior pictures taken, there was a box to check for Photoshop after the fact. And he asked me, he said, they're not going to get rid of that, are they? Because that's me. That's who I am. That was part of my high school experience. And I thought, wow, I don't know how you came up so healthy, but somehow something worked and clicked, right? So, I mean, I feel like a big part of that too, I face all the time, is wrinkles and things like that. It's so easy to get rid of those in a photo. It really is, but I guess we have to have them if we want to be our true, authentic self, right?
I think it creates a false expectation of what we are supposed to look like. If we're fortunate enough, we're all going to get wrinkles. You can think of it in the way of, oh gosh, I have wrinkles, or look at all this life I've experienced and now I'm starting to get wrinkles. Now I feel as though, I've been on this earth for long enough. I'm so fortunate to have these and to have all these experiences. And I love what you said about the scar. I love my scars. I've had a few surgeries, and they're part of me and they're part of my story. And I love that your son had that epiphany as well.
Well, coming up, Tracey's going to stand by because it's Mental Wellness Wednesday. We're going to go delve further into this very subject. And then Katie is going to hang out because she, as a photographer, does have ways that you can take a more flattering photo. That's not meant to say that you shouldn't try your best at every opportunity to dress right, stand right, and do the things that make you love the pictures that you take. So all of that and more is coming up. Don't go away. Keep watching us right here on River City Live.